Kansas State quarterback Will Howard has entered the transfer portal, and I think he has done a lot of good things for his stock in terms of his future, whether that's playing in the NFL or wherever he's going to play next. I think a lot of teams will be interested in his skill set, in his services. And today we took a look at 10 transfer destinations, 10 landing spots for him to find. Now, a few of these really are determined by if their quarterback is coming back or not. I think that Jack Plummer, if he is gone, Louisville makes a lot of sense for Will Howard. I really like what Will Howard can do with Jeff Brom. I think that this is a good fit, and this is an offense that needs a veteran quarterback to keep things going. It's an explosive group. I think they have a lot of good skill position talent. So putting him at Louisville makes a lot of sense. Now, again, this is not in any particular order. These are just 10 schools that make a lot of sense. Obviously, it depends on certain things, whether that's transfer portal and certain players running out eligibility. It's really hard to keep track of some of that stuff nowadays with the COVID year and whatnot. But I think that if Louisville is looking for a quarterback, Will Howard could be their solution. I think that Maryland most likely sees Talia Tagovailoa move on after everything he's done for them. You're looking at a potential new quarterback situation for the Terrapins. And Josh Gaddis, I think, has done a good job of getting Tagovailoa to play really well, especially in the bigger games. But I think that they would love to have a guy like Will Howard on their team. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of talent they get. The skill position talent feels like it's in good hands. And like I said, Will Howard did a lot of good things for his stock. So he, like I said, will get a lot of attention and maybe he upgrades from the Big 12 to go play in the Big 10 East. It'll be much more difficult, but I think that he's ready for that challenge. Michigan State saw one of their quarterbacks hit the transfer portal and they need a lot of help. And maybe Jonathan Smith decides that Will Howard is his guy for the future. Again, playing in the Big Ten East will not be easy, but Michigan State needs an upgrade at a lot of positions, quarterback being one of them. Will Howard, like I said, will get a lot of attention, will get plenty of deals, if you will. And Michigan State, like I said, will need a lot of help, but maybe Will Howard wants to show what he can do at a team like Michigan State. Jonathan Smith, I think, has done a good job of building Oregon State, and now he gets a chance to do that at Michigan State. But I think Michigan State would at least give him a call, gauge his interest, and see what is likely to happen. Now, I wouldn't necessarily count out the group of five. I just think it's kind of unlikely for how successful Will Howard has been. But James Madison definitely needs a quarterback. And maybe Howard decides that he wants to go that route. It's, again, probably unlikely, but it would be fun to watch him. I think James Madison has put their name on the map. Obviously, this is dependent on if Kurt Cignetti is going to stick around. There's a lot of things that are moving parts and play a factor in this. So maybe by the time this comes out, he's gone. But James Madison to me would be an interesting fit. Unlikely, but I think it would still be interesting. Arkansas is interesting to me too because they need to find a new offensive coordinator, so that plays a role. But I think when you look at what KJ Jefferson did for Arkansas, a guy like Will Howard, I think it gives them a little bit better passer who can also still run. You kind of get that similar skill set, and Howard gets to play in the SEC. I think that he has proven his talent is worthy of certain schools, and I think that Arkansas, with the amount of talent they have coming back next year, would love to have him on their team. It needs a lot of things, and a quarterback is definitely one of them. When you look at what happened this year, it has been a very disappointing year for the Panthers. A losing season is not what Pat Narduzzi wanted, but a quick way to turn things around is getting a quarterback in the transfer portal. Will Howard could be that guy. You get a dual threat quarterback who has elevated his game and played at a higher level. And like I said, if you get Will Howard, things are looking up for 2024. Still need to get certain pieces to help him out, but at least you could say, hey, we have this quarterback who's going to be really good. And that gives you a better selling point for other players that are in the portal as well. If Howard wants to stick in the Big 12, I think Oklahoma State would be a good fit for him too. I think Mike Gundy's ability to elevate his quarterbacks shows that he knows what he's doing, and they're going to need a guy for next year. And if you pair that with Ollie Gordon, you're looking at a dangerous tandem. I think you put Will Howard and Ollie Gordon in the same backfield. I'm really liking the potential of what that could be. Florida State's offense did not look good without Jordan Travis, and maybe they decide that they want to go to the transfer portal route with Jordan Travis basically saying that his college career is over. He is moving on, meaning Florida State needs to find a quarterback. And Mike Norvell has done a great job of developing his quarterbacks. When you look at his track record at both Florida State and Memphis, I think that Will Howard would benefit from learning from Norvell And I'm really excited about the potential of those two working together and what that means for Howard's career. Sam Hartman is moving on from Notre Dame, and they need a quarterback as well. There's not a ton of excitement behind him, and a guy like Will Howard could be serviceable for the short term. He could get guys up to speed, and he can get Notre Dame a better quarterback than what they would have coming into the 2024 season. Marcus Freeman has, I think, some limitations at Notre Dame when it comes to the transfer portal. But I think getting a certain amount of talent, you're not going to add a ton of guys if you're Notre Dame, but a quarterback is definitely a position that they will look for when it comes to finding one in the transfer portal and building your team for 2024. Now, one of the first teams that I thought about coming into this was Utah. It just felt like Utah was a similar version to Kansas State. And now you're still in the Big 12, but I think you're in a better place with Utah. Kyle Whittingham has done an incredible job of competing in the Pac-12. They obviously did not complete their three-peat in the Pac-12 championship game, but this is a team that definitely needs an upgraded quarterback. Bryson Barnes is okay, but I don't think that he's anything special. And they just lost Nate Johnson to the transfer portal. So maybe Howard sticks in the Big 12 with a newcomer. And I think that he'll like that you get kind of a similar situation to Kansas State. It might just be a little bit of an upgrade.